Hey folks, how's it going? So some of you probably just watched, like if this video just got uploaded, me talk for like an hour and a half live on my Instagram account at She Is of the Woods. And you watched me separate this chickweed here. I went through each and every little bit of chickweed to make sure that it was only chickweed, because my nose lettuce and other things likes to grow around her, and she's such a foot growing plant around other plants that you tend to get other bits and pieces of other plants in there, so it's important to go through your chickweed. But anyhow, I am here to talk to you about making a chickweed tincture and just to show you how easy it is. So are you ready for how hard this is? I want you to take your fresh chickweed after you've sorted through, you know, make sure that you only have chickweed. I want you to take a knife. I want you to cut her up a little bit, but don't pulverize her. The alcohol knows what it's doing, the plant knows what it's doing. They've been doing this dance for a long time, so there's no reason to make it a paste. A lot of people, when they get impatient, they don't like to wait the 6 to 8 weeks, the time it takes for a tincture to make, so they'll chop it into basically a paste. You know, and then they'll use grain alcohol, and then they're like, oh, my tincture's ready in a week, but that's really dangerous, and that's how people hurt themselves. So we've just chopped her up a little bit. It just makes a little bit more surface space. You're going to take your jar of any size. Pick a jar that you can fill up all the way. So if you just have a little bit of chickweed, use a tiny jar. If you have a lot of chickweed like I do, use a big jar. Put it in your jar. You don't got to cram it down. You know, give it a little bit of a tap if you've got enough to work with. To shove in there more. So I'm just going to repeat that. And I know you've probably been told that making tinctures is crazy, hard, complicated math, water to alcohol ratio, this, that. It's not. Those people just want you to be dependent on their information, so you can't do it on your own. So we're just chopping up the plant. Fresh plant. I never use dried plant matter to make tinctures. You want to use fresh plant matter. Even if that means that you really want a tincture in the wintertime, you're going to have to wait till spring or where you can find it fresh and get it shipped to you, or however that goes. Because fresh plant matter makes a whole nice, well-rounded tincture, because there's, like, when this dries, she loses some of her properties with evaporation. And so, okay. Fill up our jar. I'm going to grab some 100 proof vodka. Now I only use 100 proof vodka. I don't use grain alcohol. I don't use any of that stuff. If you can only get 80 proof, that'll work too. But 100 proof is great. Pop the top off of here. 100 proof is great because it's automatically 50% water and 50% alcohol. Meaning, when I dump this alcohol in here, when it comes time to decant, to get the alcohol out of the plant matter and use it like a tincture, it's already ready to use. It's already, every drop is 50% water, 50% alcohol, and you're good to go. So I'm just going to fill this all the way up, all the way to the top, just like that. And I'm going to cap her. And I might come back the next day to see if some of the air bubbles came up and gave a little bit more room, you know, and then I'll cap it or top it off some more with alcohol, because I don't want it to oxidize, and that's just where there's oxygen in there, and it tends to make a little bit, I mean, it's not the end of the world, it's just not, it makes your tincture go brown, you know, it's the oxygen. But so that's that, and now all I'm going to do is I'm going to finish a label here. And then you can use something as simple as a piece of masking tape, but mark what it is. So for me, I weighed out this herb before I put it in the jar so I could make a batch number and all that fancy stuff. I write down that I've got fresh chickweed in there, 100 proof vodka, the date, where I got it from, and then, you know, I mark tincture. You can see how these look. I made these on my own, just on a label program, but again, you don't have to get that fancy. I just do this because I have to do like an intake with my herbs and make batch numbers and all kinds of stuff. And then I'm just going to slap that on there. and I'm going to sit this in a cool, dark place for 6 to 8 weeks. And if you forget about it, because sometimes that happens and you're like, oh my god, it's been 2 years since I made this tincture, don't even worry about it. Alcohol never goes bad. This tincture, it'll be more potent in a little bit, but not like, oh, it's too strong to take. It's perfectly fine. And so that's all you have to do. Chop up your fresh plant matter, put it in a jar, dump 100 proof vodka over it, wait for 6 to 8 weeks, and you've made a tincture. Chickweed's pretty amazing internally for dissolving cysts. That's the main thing that I would use her for. And cysts being like ovarian cysts. I've used her for that too. You can also make a chickweed infusion with dried plant matter. That's for drinking. And then, you know, you do not need to make a ½ gallon of tincture. You can get, you know, a big bottle of vodka like this, and you can get a bunch of little like ½ pint jelly jars, and you can get a little bit of chickweed, and you can just make little tinctures, because that's going to last you a long time, because you're taking it like a few drops at a time. You're not taking shots of this. So you could get 1 bottle of vodka, and you could do all different sorts of fresh plant allies over the season and have this really impressive medicinal arsenal like on hand come wintertime when you need it, or any other time that you need it. So this is safe, this is simple, this is easy. You're smart enough to do this. If you like these impromptu videos, subscribe to my channel, because that, you know, helps somehow. And for sure, find me on Instagram at @shoesofthewoods _ between all the letters. And I talk on there a lot, and I do live videos like like what I talked about in the beginning of this video. I sat here for about 2 hours separating the chickweed from itself, making sure that it was just chickweed, and we just talked. We just hung out live, just back and forth, just about whatever. It's no big lecture. It's not, you know, this is what you will learn. No, it's just talking like people. So anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this video, and now you can feel confident making a chickweed tincture. Okay? Bye!